Kerala star's luxury car, or was it the bullet rider? Who is to blame for this horrible road tragedy? Well, there are always more than one sides to an accident. And this one is just another incident of how rules were not followed and lives were played with. There are often two sides to every story, even in road accidents. And that is the key question now emerging in the road accident case involving Malayalam actor, producer Maniyanpilla, Raju in Thiruvananthapuram. Police has registered a case against the actor after the car collided with a motorcycle carrying two youths near the Trivandrum club at Varadakad on Thursday night. Both riders sustained serious injuries and were shifted to hospital for treatment. Investigators say Maniyanpilla Raju was driving the car at the time of the accident and allegedly did not stop immediately at the scene. Based on these findings, police have registered his arrest under relevant sections of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita and the Motor Vehicles Act. He was later released on bail after a medical examination. It was a station bail. However, videos circulating on social media bring out several other aspects as well. The footage appears to show the motorcycle behind at a very high speed, a speeding motorcycle, moments before the collision. Question arises whether the bikers may also have played a role in the accident. While the actor's decision to leave the scene is a serious matter under the law, responsibility in road accidents is determined by a full investigation, including speed, road conditions, and conduct of all parties involved. Police say the probe is ongoing and all aspects, including actions of both the car driver and the bikers, are being examined. The case once again brings into focus a larger question. Just how carelessly do we take the roads, the traffic, and our driving? And it's not just about our lives, but also those around us. Is it just about a bigger vehicle, the bigger name, and a star? Or is it about the equal responsibility shared by everyone on the road? Well, I'm being joined at this point by Sanjay Sahai, who's a former IPS officer, and MG Radhakrishnan, who's a senior journalist. Thank you very much, both of you, for joining me. I'm also being joined at this point by Rahul Ishwar, who's an author and activist. Thank you very much, all three of you. Good to see you, each one of you, after a very long time. MG Radhakrishnan, let's just start with this. I mean, that video is so worrying. It's just so shocking. And this is in the heart of Thiruvananthapuram. Just to give our audience a sense, this is right in the heart of the Thiruvananthapuram. This is where you have the posh Trivandrum club. This is one of the poshest roads in Trivandrum. In the nights, this is also a road that usually would be quite vacant. It's not like really a congested road. This is also where several other incidents have happened. But MG Radhakrishnan, for Kerala, that has seen a rise in road accidents, a rise in motor vehicles, a rise in cars and bikes on the road, like several other cities, capitals and states across the country. How do you really look at how this has played out?
Well, Sneha, Kerala, as you know, happens to be right on top in the number of motor accidents that happen in the country. And the vehicle population in Kerala also seems to be quite pretty high, in the sense that, per capita ownership of vehicles seems to be Kerala is right on top compared to, the number of the proportion, the ratio, etc. of vehicles to the population. Whereas the roads have not actually expanded commensurate to the growth in vehicles, especially in the last 10, 15 years. Kerala has seen an exponential growth in its economy, in its, the consumer expenditure, the number of vehicles being sold in the country. So this is a typical case of mismatch between the infrastructure and the number of vehicles which has been growing completely out of control for the last few years. thanks to various other things. So this is a typical case. And the second thing is definitely there has been an increase in the violation of road rules and other things, which also have been going up in Kerala. The third point is where, in this particular case, it is again, it's a repeat of what has been we have seen in other big cities where privilege trumps rule of law.
Right. Sanjay Sahai, let's just take it from where MG Radhakrishnan has left it, and he has said a story which is being played out across cities. It's not just a Kerala story, it's not just a Trivandrum story, it's not just a South Indian story. It's a story that people have to take cognizance of. What's happened, the video that we are discussing really has so many layers to this. Let's just start with this. How do you look at it when a star says that I was scared? I got scared and that's why I drove off. I did not stop. Here's a star who has all the privileges, who has all the exposures, who has seen some of the best parts of this country and the world for that matter. And he says, I got frazzled, I got scared, and therefore I did not stop.
It is a lame duck answer, to be precise. And he's just evading his responsibility, and he knows that in this particular point in time, he does not have any other alibi but to say that I panicked and I ran away from that place. So broadly, this is where it stands.
Now, if that's the case, for the video that we are playing out, for what we have been telling right now, there's also the other side of it, and that's also something that needs to be discussed equally. Just the speed at which that bike is going in the heart of the city. The speed of that bike. How much of a concern is that when you look at the visuals? We're just playing out the visuals so our viewers can also look at it again. Just the speed at which that bike is going. What would you say? We don't know yet.
The bike is going at a breakneck speed. There's absolutely no denying the fact. And the person who is driving, who is on the wheel in the car, who is the actor, so he also has not taken due cognizance of it. In Bangalore, what we see on a regular basis, mostly this e-commerce and all those two-wheelers, I think we have to safeguard ourselves. After retiring from IPS, I think I've been driving consistently for last 3 years on Bangalore roads, and I can tell you that the Trivandrum roads are much less dangerous than the Bangalore roads. So leave that comparison aside. As far as the police is concerned, the most pathetic part is that there is zero enforcement. So all these fine and hanging around at nook and corner and giving the challan, whether physical or online. So that might be, as a normal resident today, it is more of a sham and more of a show that enforcement is happening. Now the breakneck speed at which these vehicles move in the cities, and also all these without silencer vehicles, sports cars and all that, mostly in the Cosmo cities or in cities which are full of money supposedly from whichever way. Now that enforcement is a zero enforcement. Now if we go to Trivandrum police today and ask them to give the data of cases registered at say between 12 in the night or 10 in the night to 6 in the morning of bikers moving at a breakneck speed, I don't think they will be able to get that data. They will find it difficult even to get it out through their video analytics or artificial intelligence, what they call it. The problem is first is of enforcement, because if there is a predictability of enforcement, then these issues will come down, not that they will go away. So that is a very, very important thing. The second part is, which I've been repeating over and over again, if there are two vehicles or there are two drivers who are negligent, so it's always the man with a bigger vehicle. And the case today is not against the bikers for negligent driving or whatever.
Right.
The case is only against the actor, and all the 4 sections of law, 281, 125A, Bharat Nyaya Samhita, and 134A and 134B of the Motor Vehicles Act, all has been slapped against the actor. There is absolutely no denying the fact, and the complete traffic offences investigation in this country happens only against people who are in bigger vehicles.
No, so Sanjay Sahai, are you, this is important. I'm doing this from a viewer perspective. This is a question that many people ask. We are not absolving anybody of any responsibilities here. We are not absolving anybody. We are not declaring anybody who's guilty, who's free. Let the rule of law do that. But the question that we're really asking is, what you are saying, that's a question that all of us have been having. How much of a responsibility really is it with a bigger car? Is that what the law really says? The person with the bigger car, the bigger vehicle, whatsoever it is responsible. Is that how the law
See,
is?
the law does not differentiate between smaller vehicles and bigger vehicles. The law also does not differentiate whether somebody has been injured by a bigger vehicle or a smaller vehicle. But the convention in this country, because of lack of understanding of law and the capability to prove, so there, and also might be the people's sentiments. So the standard practice is that the bigger vehicle is held to task. That is a very, very standard thing. And then when you do the investigation, you do the investigation from that orientation. If the actor is culpable or we have decided him culpable even before the investigation has taken place. So every single technical investigation, inclusive the scratches, the angle, everything. So that will be taken with the level of finding the culpability of the
Sir?
particular actor or the accused in this case.
So you're saying you're making a very important point. I want to go back to MG Radhakrishnan on this, but Rahul Ishwar, you've been waiting. Rahul Ishwar, you are also somebody who was born and brought up in Thiruvananthapuram. This is a road very familiar with you. How do you look at really what's happening? You drive across the city. You have a voice across media platforms and several influential groups. Just how big of a concern is this? Is this a concern for you as somebody who's going to be voting in the elections? Does this matter? Or is this about, just the road accidents that get the highlights?
Neha, just some humble submissions. First of all, accidents are accidental. It is nobody's case that they have deliberately done that. Second, it's obvious the Maniyanpilla Raju should have stopped. Now, he's saying he got scared and all. It's natural response, but he being a responsible citizen, a person who is 70 years old, who we all look up to, should have stopped. There are no two ways about it. But we can also see the bike speeding at a very high rate. He had rightly put the indicator, and the bike has come and crashed. The side has crashed towards the crash guard of the car towards the front. So it's an unfortunate incident. Maybe it's a time for a wake-up call so that our civic sense and our traffic rule sense gets better. And whenever an accident happens, it's an absolute must. We have the duty to inquire about a fellow being. Had they have seriously been injured, it would have been a much more serious cause. He should have had the courtesy to get them to the hospital. I'm not blaming anybody, but if it happens to our car, it's natural that we get scared. But if their head injury comes or some other serious injury comes, it would be fatal for them. So it's the duty of both people or any people in that matter to stop the car and inquire about the well-being of a person, take them to the hospital. And let's be honest, we should take it as an accident rather than any other thing. Accidents are accidental; they keep on happening. But there is a larger sense of responsibility that people need to have, and people need to care about their fellow beings.
Right.
That's the right way, and
Absolutely.
that's the right wake-up call we need to have.
Absolutely. Rahul Ishwar, thank you for joining us. I can see you were on your way somewhere and you took time to join us. Thank you so much for joining us. MG Radhakrishnan, let me just come to you at this point. Kerala is getting into elections. We know statistics right before us. Just the increase in road accidents year after year. We know how dangerous Kerala roads are and how narrow these roads are. How much of an issue really is road safety, road accidents for that matter, even in a state like Kerala, MG Radhakrishnan, an educated state, an aware state like Kerala? Does it matter?
That is right, Sneha, unfortunately, because Kerala, in spite of its various other, important achievements, Kerala also has been riddled with a number of paradoxes. And I would say this is one of them, because the complete lack of, decent sort of, or what do you call it, the submission to laws and other things, and it has been completely absent in Kerala, especially the road rage that you see across Kerala is something which is unbelievable. Maybe, and this particular road, as you know very well, is not a narrow one. It has been a very pretty large, it's a very broad road that is from Vizag to, to Pujapura and places like that. So it is not that the road was narrow or something else, but it is the sheer neglect, for the minimum standards of road safety that had to be kept by both these vehicles.
MG Radhakrishnan, if I can ask you this question before elections, just how important, I mean, you would know the best because you're there on the ground, you're there in Kerala, you know how it's playing out. Just how much of an pressure is it to, one, see that you're acting fast, you're acting instantly, and especially when there is a star involved. And the other aspect of what the police official has just said, that's a very important aspect of what Mr. Sanjay Sahai has put forward, that it's not just about the big car, big star, because when we got the information in the beginning of how it came about the car hitting the bike, the hit and run case, and of course where the star did not stop, and nobody takes it away from that. That's a criminal act to not stop, to not give the first aid. But it's also about the other half, the breakneck speed at which the bike is moving. So how much of that really gets into the whole narrative of how police looks into it, especially during an election season?
Well, I think that is the most important point. Whether who is responsible, who is culpable is another issue. Definitely, as the footage shows that the bikers were quite at fault because as the police officer said, the breakneck speed and all those. That is absolutely understandable. That is the bikers are completely at fault. And whether this, Maniyanpilla Raju's car was just crossing those line or right in front, was it on the road? Those things have to be investigated, definitely. But the point is that, how much time, two things. One, that this actor, left from the scene because he was scared or whatever it is, which is also quite understandable. It is quite humane, but at the same time, he is at fault. One has to accept that. Number two is that the action taken by the police has come very, very late in the day. In fact, there was no action the entire night. Only today morning they took him to the the test and all those things. So that shows that there's a clear dereliction of duty from the police side.
Right.
So definitely all these things have to be. The problem is that the sheer callousness of not just the state but of the society also to issues like this.
Right.
I think who is to be blamed in this particular for this is something which is, my guess is as good as yours.
We're totally out of time, but Sanjay Sahai, I would like to leave the last word with you. What's your last word? 30 seconds to you. What would you want to tell the viewers who are watching you at this point?
India is a mecca of fatal accidents for last nearly 15 years, and the only way out is a very strict enforcement. Only strict enforcement can make a difference. It is doable in the age of technology. It's just that we are completely indifferent to it. And in case there is an added point which I can put forth is that there is some sense of traffic culture or a culture where you make yourself responsible for whatever you do, the way you drive, because the nature of impact which finally happens is suicidal for somebody.
Right. Sanjay Sahai, MG Radhakrishnan, thank you so much for joining us on such an important issue. Thank you for taking the time out. To the viewers, be careful while you're driving, while you're on the road, while you're riding. It's your lives, your loved ones. Thank you so much.